Bill Solari for the weather that we're having right now. For those of you who don't know Bill, he's a full-time truck driver and a part-time music teacher here in East Bridgewater for the last 15 years. And if you ask him, he'll tell you that he can control the weather. He's also been asking me for the last 6 months where he would show up in my speech. So Bill, there you go. While I'm up here, I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank my mom and my dad, the rest of my family, and all my teachers for their hard work that they put into me over the last 18 years. But I'd also like to thank all of my fellow classmates and my friends, basically anyone who's ever gotten a text message from me at 11 o'clock asking what the French homework was. I appreciate that. As of 10 a.m. this morning, the world population was 6,914,249,885. A tiny 150 of that great number is seated before you right now. This leads me into the only quote that I will use today, and it comes from one of the wisest men I've ever met. We are all insignificant specks in the vastness of geologic time. For those of you who have never heard this before, think about how it makes you feel right now, and imagine what this was like when we were scared little freshmen, fresh from the middle school where every day we were told we were all special. It was a new way of thinking about things, and Mr. Abaid, you had a point. The world that we, the graduating class of 2009, are going into is huge, and while we still have our whole lives ahead of us, we don't have forever. This world we're entering, it's full of people who have never been to a Dale and the Duds concert and don't know what the BPL is. These people might actually believe you if you told them there was a pool on your high school's 4th floor, or that we actually did go home after lunch. This world that we are graduating into is not like the world that we started school in. It's not even close. When we started school back in 1996, cell phones were for movie stars, Facebook was when someone fell asleep in class, and Twittering was when the kid next to you forgot to take his Ritalin. But all of this is normal to us now. Well, for us sitting here anyways. I don't think my grandma right there has any clue what I'm saying. The point is that the life of the average high school student today is completely foreign to someone from, say, the class of 1999. And I'm willing to bet that the class of 2019 will have none of the fond childhood memories we had with VHS tapes, and the class of 2029 will probably only have ever read a newspaper in a museum. But what does this mean for us graduating today? It means that we're leaving our little high school. You can all cheer for that. But we're going into a big, scary world full of a lot of people and a lot of information. This new world also means that everything in our textbooks we can Google. And trust me, every single one of us has figured this out. But that doesn't make our education over the last 13 years useless. It just means that the traditional education that our parents had, that our teachers had, doesn't apply to us in the same way anymore. While it's good to know when the Battle of Hastings was, or what the formula for a carbohydrate is, in the grand scheme of things, I see our ability to succeed coming not from how much information we have stored in our heads, but from how we find the information that makes up for our own personal shortcomings, to let us do more than we could do alone. The world that we're about to venture off into is more complicated than ever, so everyone keeps telling us, from the President of the United States to that guy you see on street corners with the sign that says the world is ending. And these problems run the gamut, from global climate change to figuring out how that charge ended up in your cell phone bill. And we'll probably never solve either of those. But to solve the other problems throughout our lives, we're going to have to be able to use all of the resources and information we have that's so easily accessible to us. I mean, the wealth of human knowledge is literally floating in the air around us, from Einstein's theories to mylifeisaverage.com. Nobody knew this better than our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, who during the Gettysburg Address famously said, "The internet is the key to the future of our world." Sorry, Miss Dugan, I got that quote off of Wikipedia. Okay, so we need to be able to tap into our resources and use them with discretion. That can be tricky. But thankfully, that's what we as a class, as a generation, have been trained to do, from elementary school and Oregon Trail to the rest of our school careers. We've been learning in the classroom and on our own how to use new tools to solve any kind of problem. From questions on your lab report, to SOC scores, making plans with your friends, arranging senior class work on scholarship funds. By the way, that ends today, guys. Whatever. Our education, a major part of which is ending here today, has been one part traditional learning and one part exploration into how to learn into the future, to expect the unexpected. After all, our whole childhood has been nothing but the unexpected, the most severe of which when we were in 5th and then later 6th grade, the effects of which are still around us today. But this is all we've ever known, and it's what we're prepared for. As I said before, the 150 of us here today are a tiny part of the almost 7 billion people that we share this world with. Alone, we may seem nothing more than insignificant specks. And Mr. Abate is correct. Geologically, we won't matter. But that's not a bad thing. However, we have the rest of our lives ahead of us, and in the world we're entering, in our lifetimes, we have the ability to collaborate with 7 billion other brains and 7 billion other personalities to do something very significant. All that we, the graduating class of 2009, have to do is go out there and get to it. Congratulations, everyone. Goodbye, and best of luck to all of you. Thank you.